Is it visible?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
very
Yes,
good.
ma'am.
Okay. Now we will start with the session. Please mute yourself. Hmm. Now we will start with the session. First, we will revise what the first program which we have seen in yesterday's lecture. So we will go ahead with it. What are the steps for it? Uh, I'm not expecting exactly that you have installed the JDK, but I have given you the steps in your Google Classroom. Then once you will install that JDK, you are supposed to write your code inside editor. And for that, for time being, we are going to use Notepad. So first step is open the Notepad and run it as an administrator. So here, open the Notepad, run it as an administrator. Once you will click on it, then a notepad will open. You're going to type the code, C class, C capital, the program name. We are going to follow the assumptions. If it is a class name, if there are 3 words, 4 words, how many words are there, you're going to take it. But for each word, first letter capital. That's the assumption. It's not compulsion. I'm repeating it. It's assumption. Then public static void main. This is also called as the entry point for any Java program. From here, the compiler will come to know what to execute, what will be the sequence. So this main is also called as entry point of program. String S capital. These are called as arguments, command line arguments. Later on, we will see it. Now, how to print anything? There is a class system in which there is a package out, and in that one function is there, method println. Ln stands for new line. So we are displaying one message, hello good morning. Where to save it? We are going to save it in JDK 1.8 and bin. And how to save it? In the file name, mention the double quotes so that no other extension like .txt will be there. And in save as, mention all files. Here save will be there, and click on that save. Now in order to execute your program, what is expected? Command prompt. So open the command prompt. Once again, run it as an administrator. Once you will be in your command prompt, you will see this path. It's the root directory, C Windows System 32. We are not supposed to be here. We are supposed to be in the bin directory of JDK. So cd slash. Now go to the C drive. Once again, you will be to the root directory, and we are going to redirect to the another directory, that is the bin directory. And what is the path? C, program files, Java, JDK and bin. Then next is, once you are in the directory, here the cursor will continuously blink. And in order to check whether the Java is installed or not, we are going to type Java C, C for compile. And once you will see all these commands, it means that Java is successfully installed and you are ready to compile and run your code. So the next thing which we are going to do is, we are going to run the program. And what is that program? Simple. Command is Java C, the program name, the file name. So the Java class file name, the Java class name, and here you're going to run in the same way. It is case sensitive, capital, small matters. Otherwise you will get a syntax error. So demo sy20 my.java, and if there are no syntax error, you will be prompted back, and here the cursor will blink, and then you're going to run it. So how to run it? Java and the program name or the file name without extension. So during compilation, extension compulsory. While running the code, no extension. And then once you will press enter, it's going to give you a message, whatever you have written in the code, hello good morning. And once again the cursor will come to the next prompt and it will blink. That's it. This was from yesterday's. It was just a revision how we did it. Now we are going to move ahead to the basic concepts of Java. What are the different basic concepts of Java? The first thing is white space. Okay, what is mean by white space? Here, space, tab or new line characters, all are called as white space character. It represents a white space, that's why it is called as white space character. Now Java is free form language. Why it is called free form language? Because you have learned the Python. In Python, the tab is very important. If you're going to press a space after the tab in your function, then also you're going to get an syntax error. So space matter in case of Python. It has to be exactly tab if you want to go inside it, or if you want to go outside some function or method or the class. So it is compulsory. But in Java, there is only simple concept which is called as block of code, and what it indicates is nothing but opening and closing curly braces. And opening and closing curly braces will indicate that where the class starts and where the class ends. So it is totally independent of the tab. The Python stick to this tab, Java stick to the curly braces. Now we will see it one by one. So white space characters, what are the white space characters? Space, tab, and a new line character. Now we will see one example of it. Space, we have seen the program, how to write it. So here, class, space, and the class name. So only single space is there. Is it correct? Yes. Is it syntactical error? Yes. Is the Java compiler is going to throw any error? No. Tab. If you're going to write like class, a tab space, then demo, then is it correct? Yes. Are you going to get any syntax error? No. So space is allowed, tab is allowed. Now we will see new line character, how it works in case of this Java, and how the curly braces will help us. These are the three examples how same thing can be written in Java in three different ways. You can write it on the same line, you can write it on separate lines, or you can make a combination of it. So new line actually doesn't matter. It's a free form language. See here, class, space, demo. Here, opening curly braces, and on the same line also you can write public static void main string args, opening curly brace over there itself, then system.out.println, there the closing of main and closing of class. Everything you can write on a single line, no issue. Compiler will not throw any error. Or otherwise you can write like class demo on new line curly braces, on new line public static. So everything you can write on a separate line, compiler will work correctly with it, no syntax error. Or there are different assumptions or coding style. Some of this shows like this: class and demo, the opening curly brace has to be exactly on that same line. So you can follow that convention. So opening curly brace here, and then on the new line, if you want to write down public static void main, this closing curly brace you can write over here also. So no issue with it. So this is simple concept of white space character and how they are treated by a Java compiler. So hope so till this point it's clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm moving ahead. Literals. Literals is very basic concept of any programming language. Literals are nothing but constant values. Any constant value is treated as a literal. It's the actual meaning of it, na? So you can't change the meaning of it. So exactly the word says literal. Okay, constant. It's fixed. You can't change it. So some examples. Here are some literals. 100. What does 100 represent? An integer literal or integer constant. 100 means 100. You can't change the meaning of 100. Next is floating point value, 98.6. This is a floating point constant. It requires a decimal, some points before it and some values before it and some after it. Okay. This is a single character. So it is a character constant. You can't take a combinations of 2-3 characters. If you're going to take more than one character, it will be treated as string. So this is a single character. It's a character constant, and always it will be quoted with a single quote. In Java, single quote indicates that it's a single character. Not like a Python. In Python, you have many versions of it. Within single quote allowed, within double quotes allowed, triple single quote allowed, double single quotes allowed. So it's not the case with the Java. In Java, it's compulsory. If single quotes are there, it means that it's a single character, capital A to Z or small a to z. That's it. Next is a string. In Java, it is fixed that whenever you're going to write something in double quotes, it means that it's a string. What is a string? String is nothing but sequence of something, or here it is a sequence of characters. In string, you can include characters as well as you can include any number also. So you can consider that it's a sequence of alphanumeric values. So here I have not written any number, but you can. So within double quotes indicate that it's a string, group of characters. So once again, a normal value integer, point value, floating point or double. We will see how to bifurcate between float value and a double, how a compiler understand that this is a float value and this is a double value. We are going to see one example of it, but right now it's a float value. Then if you're going to write something in single quote, it means it's a character, double quotes, string. Now that's the same thing which is explained over here. This is the program and we are going to see this program. Now see, class, demo, literals, D and L capital, public static void main, string args, int I, char C, string str, float f1 and double D. These are nothing but variable declaration part. So first we will see example and then we will understand how to write it and what is the syntax of Java of variable declaration. So what is the syntax says? First you should write down the data type. These are called as data type. What is mean by data type? If in exam for Viva someone asks you that what is a data type, its name suggests data and type. What type of data you can store in that variable. What is a variable? Anything which can change its value is called as variable. Variable. Able to change the value is called variable. So see here, first data type followed by a space. Space is compulsory. White space character we will say. So space or tab is allowed and then you can write down the variable name. Are there any syntax or rule for writing any variable? Yes. What are those rules? Rules are you can write any character. First has to be, the first letter has to be a character. It can be followed by a digit or a character. So you can write like this, F1, it's allowed. But if you're going to write it like 1F, it is not allowed. As you know, R language, statistics. Directly I'm jumping over there. In R, it was very simple. You can have a dot in between a variable name. You can have an underscore, it's allowed. Before the variable name, you are able to precede it with the underscore or with the dot or with a number. You can start any variable name with a number. That is allowed in R. But it is not allowed in Java. Java strictly says that start with a character followed by any alphanumeric value. Alphanumeric means character or number. Both are allowed. So int I and semicolon indicates end of the statement. This is very important. So any statement is there, it has to end with a semicolon. This is not a statement. Why it is not a statement? It's the function declaration part. This is the opening of your function, entry point of your function or a method. This is the class declaration part. This is opening of your class. Now here it's a statement. How you will come to know that there is a statement? Always it has to have some expression. And here what this expression is? Declaration of a variable. So here we are declaring an integer variable I. Then we are declaring a character variable C. Char is the data type. Int is for integer. C, everything in small letters. But in case of string, S is capital. String str. Once we will get to know about this, I will tell you why string S is capital. But remember, anything if by default in Java comes as the capital letter starting, it indicates that either it is a class name or it's an collection. So I will tell you later on what is collection. Then next is float F1. Now why I have written float F1? you can see it in the rest of the code. I will show you why. F1 double D system.out.println slash, this is for indentation purpose, just to separate out the output. Now to I, when you write this, I is equal to 30 and semicolon. Now this is once again an statement. 30 is the right hand side value and I is the left hand side value. So I is the variable and value we are assigning as 30. Here also in between you can put a single space or a tab. It will work perfectly. C is a character. So C equal to, in single quote, capital A, semicolon. Then F1 is equal to 0.15 F. This F indicates that in Java, it is compulsory. If you're going to take any float variable, then you must succeed it with a small f. Compiler will come to know that this is a floating point value. So that's why if f is in between, if f is an keyword in Java, you can't use it like a variable name. So that's why no variable names keywords. So here we can't write like float f, we will get a syntax error. Then that's why I have here written f1 just to separate out. So f1 is equal to this, d is equal to 0.1234, system.out.println. Now this part you will find it's confusing, but I will tell you how to write it exactly. Let me first explain this. Let me show you the output. Then once again, I will show you how to write it lively. Means in the notepad, I will show you how to write it. Yes.
स्टार्टिंगला जिथे आपण व्हेरिएबल्स डिक्लेअर केलेत तिथेच आपण व्हॅल्यू नाही असाइन करू शकत.
Yes, we can assign it. Okay. So I is equal to, there are various ways to do it. I'm explaining the one, but you can ask this question so that others' doubt will also be clear. Within double quotes, whatever you're going to write, it's a string. The compiler is going to print it as it is without thinking what it is. So within double quotes, we are writing for ourselves, for user, I is equal to, then plus indicate that the compiler is going to expect some value. So here, what value? I value we want. So that's why we are proceeding and succeeding with the plus sign, plus value. This plus indicate that there is some code after it. So that's why plus is just an extension to it. So double quotes indicate that treat it like a string, C equal to, plus indicate the value of C. This means first plus indicate the value of C. The second plus indicate there is a string. After the string, once again plus indicate the value is there. Second plus indicate string is there. Then this plus indicate value is there, but now nothing is there. That's why no need of any plus. If you're going to put plus here, you're going to get a syntax error. I will show you how to do it. So this is simply I, C, F1 and D values we are printing, and one more indentation part. Now we will see how its output looks like. So whenever we are going to go to the command prompt, we are going to run it as an administrator. We are going to get a black color window. I have cropped everything and I am directly in the bin directory. Here you can observe that in yesterday's code, I have shown you how to run the code in JDK 1.8 Here the version is JDK 1.7 0_51. Then also all your Java code are going to run. After JDK 1.3, if you are going to take any version of Java, your code will run because this is core Java and all are basic packages and they are readily available in JDK 1.3 onwards. So in bin, Java C demo literals.java and run it, Java demo literals, the first line indentation, and then on the new line, we have displayed it like I30, CA, F1 0.15, F is missing. Compiler has taken this F in order to interpret as floating value. D double and the value and one more separation line and the cursor will blink here. So is the code clear to everyone? Very simple code.
Yes,
Very.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It's very simple code. Now mute yourself. So first, should I tell you how to write the code and this plus plus, and then we will move ahead?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So are you able to see a notepad?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove this whole statement system.out.println, and here now I'm writing it in the middle. See how I'm writing. First I'm going to write down, observe it carefully how I'm writing it. So first we want to print I, observe it, and then I'm going to explain it. Observe it carefully. You will be able to write it very easily then. So I'm explaining once again how I'm writing it. So I have written string, then plus plus, double plus I have already written, and in between I'm going to enter the value of the variable, means the variable which I'm expecting that the value of that variable should be displayed in the output. So here I is there and I want its value. So I'm going to write down between the double plus. So here I'm writing it once again. So between the double plus, write down the variable whose value you want, and then always precede it with the string, put a space, whatever value you want to write. If you are getting confused with the HG, it's like hello, this is a string, then here I is there. Then next, if you want some string after it, by, write down in double quotes. Then once again a plus, plus indicate that you want some value. So suppose D, here we are having those variables, so we are doing it with it. If D is the last thing which you want to print, no need of any plus or no need of these strings, nothing. If you are going to write down like this, plus and this, it's okay. It's not a syntax error because empty string is also a value. So empty string compiler is going to get, that's why you are not going to get any syntax error. But what sense it makes? If you want to put any space after it, just you want to make it more readable, then it's okay. But if that character is at the end of the line, why to waste a simple space? So we are not going to waste the time. So double here we are going to put the parenthesis, opening and closing, and that's it. So is it clear to everyone how to write down this concatenation in Java?
Ma'am,
Hmm?
is the variable in double quotes or the value is in double quotes?
Double quotes indicate that it's a string, means the variable name will be displayed, that is I. But when you're going to write down plus, I value will be reflected, that is 30. So plus indicate value and the double quotes indicate string.
Okay, so the I is the string here, right?
Yeah, here I is equal to is the string, and plus I indicate the next plus I. Oh, it's there in the PowerPoint presentation. Okay. So plus I indicate 30. Here C equal to is the variable and plus C indicate A. F1 is the variable and here plus F1 indicate 0.15. D equal to is a variable and plus D indicates 0.1234. You can separate it out also, means if you don't want to write down everything in a single line, you want to separate it out, you can. So it totally depends on you how you want to display it. So if suppose I want to display like I on a single line, I can Then if I want that C should be on the new line, so here C is here. Yes, we don't want it. So once again out F1 we want to print. I think ways to do it. Whichever way you feel comfortable, you can go ahead with it. So should I show you what is the output of it? Once again it is asking for it. Okay, demo literals. Now I'm going to save it in JDK. Save it. We want to replace it. Yes. It means that I have not. See here, very good thing. See here, I have not opened this notepad as an administrator. I have simply double clicked on the notepad and have kept it open. So that's why I'm getting now permission. You do not have permission to open this file. Okay. If this thing happened to you, then what to do? Then simply copy paste the whole code. Control C. Otherwise, you can save it in the D drive also. So are you able to see now an untitled notepad?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Now I'm pasting the whole code. Simply Control V. Now Control S to save it. Now we are in the JDK bin. The name is demo literals.java. Mention it in double quotes. Once you mention it in double quotes, even if save as a type, you are not going to make it like all files, it's okay. Now click on save. It already exists. Do you want to replace it? Yes. Now it is saved successfully. No error thrown because I have opened the notepad and I have run it as an administrator. Now this is our command prompt. So on the command prompt, once again, as the codes are already there, simply by pressing up arrow and down arrow, you will be able to retrieve the older commands. Same like your Linux. In the Linux prompt also, ls-l, you used to get it. Similarly, here also you will be able to get it. So I am compiling it. No error, no syntax error. Now the next is run it. So as we have returned system.println, so everything is coming on a new line. So I30, CA, F1 is 0.15 and D is equal to 0.1234. We'll move ahead. As we have seen this code, we have made the changes, we are able to compile it and run it. Now, the simple thing, that is comments. What are the comments? Same like your C, the two comments are there, a single line comment and a multi-line comment. Single line comment is represented by /. Do you remember in Python also I have shown you what is / and what is /. So similarly here // indicate a single line comment. So what is meant by a comment? It's the comment is actually for the developer in order to understand what he has written in that code, what the next 2-3 lines means. So single line indicate if we want to write something exactly in front of any complex formula or the method call or method invocation or method declaration, then you can make use of this single line comment. It's for you, it's for developer. The compiler is totally going to ignore whatever you're going to write down within this /. So even if you're going to write down an Hindi song or any favorite picture, your name, your phone number, but don't do this, it's totally meaningless to do it. Actually the developer should write down what that line means, okay, for himself or herself. Now multi-line comment / symbol, write down the things which you want to write. You can treat it like a paragraph, and if you want to end that comment, then asterisk and slash. So here /* indicates multi-line comment. These two comments are inherited from C++. The Java supports one more type of comment. Actually total 3 types of comments are there in Java: single line comment, multi-line comment, and the next is documentation comment. Now, what documentation comment means? We will see some applet code, or if you are going to means if you're going to download the NetBeans, I'm going to show you also how to run same code in the NetBeans, but almost after 15-16 days. Once you are used to this notepad and the black color command prompt, then we will shift to the NetBeans. So in NetBeans, by default, it's going to have this documentation. It's a coding style. Documentation command always start with slash, double star or double asterisk symbol, then write down 3-4 lines. See, observe, in front of every line there is an asterisk symbol. It indicates that it's a documentation command. It means that this code belongs to someone. So there will be a brief description about it, who is the author, when he has created, and since what date and time he has created it. So I have taken this example from net, that's why it says that author is Zara Ali. Now if you're going to write down the code in NetBeans and in your on your laptop you're going to run this code, here you are able to see at author and your name. It will be like Aarti in my case, add the version and the version will be displayed, and add since today's date will be reflected or the date on which you have created it. So this is documentation command slash double star, whole paragraph, precede each line with the star, end with star slash. Then these are the 3 types of command. So I'm repeating it: single line command, multi-line command, and documentation command. So these questions. Now I am moving ahead. What are separators? Very simple concept once again, but when anyone will ask you in the Viva what are separators, you will be totally blank. So that's why we will go through it. So what are separators? These are commons to all languages: C, C++, Java, Python, C#, .NET, R, everywhere. So what are separators? In Java, there are few characters that are used as a separator. So first is nothing but the semicolon. And what semicolon indicate? Terminate a statement. End of the statement is indicated by semicolon. So first separator in Java is semicolon. Then next one is, we have seen this from our childhood in maths. Maths, for BODMAS rule, for writing any equation or expression, you use this parenthesis, opening parenthesis and closing parenthesis. In shortcut, we used to call it like round bracket opening and the closing round bracket, but it should not be pronounced like that. Technical name is parenthesis, opening parenthesis and closing parenthesis. It indicates that the invocation of something, some parameters you're going to pass. So even if it is a method, pass any parameter. Method declaration means the actual parameter. Method invocation or call means the when it is a method declaration, it will be a formal parameter, and in case of invocation, it will be an actual parameter. Or even if you want to write down a big complex formula, you can separate out with the help of this parenthesis. So this is a type of separator, and it is supported in Java. For typecasting also, means in order to convert one data type, integer to float, float to integer, character to string, string to character, we are going to use this parenthesis. So first we have seen semicolon, then parenthesis. Now the next is braces, opening and closing braces. It is also used to define a block of code, whether it's a method. Whenever you say that the block of code, what is block of code? When one statement is there, it's end with the semicolon. Compiler understand that this is the end of the statement, terminate that statement, go to the next statement. When there is a block of such statement, it's called as block of code. More than one statement. Okay, so in one statement you can give a call to the other method, you can come back to that step, you can write some values, you can display its calculated values. Include everything in opening and closing curly braces. If you are not going to give any name to this curly brace, it is called anonymous block. I am simply introducing this concept, and later on I will show you the example of it. So it's totally syntactically correct. Compiler is not going to throw any error. You can write like class public static void main, and then after opening curly braces of main, you can write down one more opening closing curly braces, and in that you can write down the same code and close the curly brace, close the main, close the class, and you will be able to see that compiler doesn't throw any error. So it's called anonymous block of code. Then next is the opening and closing square brackets. This is nothing but many a times we are going to use it for array. List is also there, but you can take its example from Python. That list was indicated like this, and array in Java is represented with the help of the square brackets. Basically, these square brackets are used for dereferencing. Dereferencing means what? When we say a in square bracket 1, it indicates that the second element of the array. When we say because array always starts with 0 in Java, array starts with a 0, the index is 0, and whenever you say that I want a 10 size of array, then it's going to give you 0 to 9. It's totally allowed to access it. So the brackets are used for dereferencing to get the value at that position. It's called dereferencing that value. Then next is, so we have seen the semicolon, once again it is repeated. Then comma. Comma is used to separate out the variables. Whenever you are declaring the variables, if suppose you want to declare 3 integer variable a, b, c, how you can display it? Int space a, comma b, comma c, semicolon. So here the comma is used to separate out the variables, or if you want a chain of something and you want to separate it out, you can make use of comma. Then period is used, actually it's called as an access operator. It's a member access operator. We will see it, and we have already seen it. So it's like system dot out dot println. What the dot indicates that out is the package which is there in the system class. Println is a method which is there inside that out package. So println is there in out, out is there in system. So this dot is nothing but it's called member access operator, and in English we say that it's a period. So here dot indicates member class or member access operator. It can be used for accessing any method or a class or a package which is inside it. So these were the separators. We will revise all the separators once again. It was semicolon, that is end of the statement, then parenthesis, opening closing, it's for invocation, then passing the arguments, then next is curly braces, code, block of code, anonymous block is also there. Then next one is square bracket opening closing, it's for array dereferencing. Then next one is period, it's nothing but member access operator. If you want to access any method inside which is there inside the class, then you can make use of that dot. Next, Java keywords. A basic thing once again, there are various Java keywords. Till Java 1.6 there were 50 keywords in Java. Okay, so in your exam you can write it that there are 50 keywords, but in every year when they are going to change the version, the number or the count of these keywords will change. It's okay if you're going to change this value, but sure short 50 keywords are there. Now what are those keywords? It can be like here true, false and null. As Java is case sensitive, so you can observe here everything is in a small TRUEFALSE and NULL. All these are keywords, you can't use it. Even if the class CLASS, everything in small is a keyword. System S capital, keyword. Out, keyword. Println, keyword. So the thing which is a keyword, you can't use it like a variable name or a class name. If you want to give an example of it, that I can't write a class name as a class itself. So I can't write at the starting of any program class space class. No, not allowed. Syntax error. Class space method, not allowed. Syntax error. Okay. Class space true, class space false. So if you go through the Herbert Schultz book, you will get the whole table of these 50 keywords. No one is going to ask you in the exam, give me the list of these 50 keywords. But for understanding this language thoroughly, you should at least have a look for it. So next, Java is a strongly typed language. The question can be asked in exam. For 5 marks, write a short note on why Java is called as strongly typed language. We have started with the concept of data type, int, char, float, double. These are nothing but the types with which we are going to define any data, that you are integer, have this sense. Your character, have only characters. Your string, have a group of something. Now, a question can be there that as the string is a group of character, can we have one character in a string? Yes, you can. So within double quotes, I can write down X, Y, Z. Single character is allowed in a string. No syntax error will be thrown. Why it is called strongly typed language? Two reasons are there. Every variable has a data type, and every expression is also going to get a data type. So when you say 3 plus 4, it's an integer, because 3 is integer, 4 is integer, 3 plus 4 is an expression. The value which you are going to get is 3 plus 4, that is 7. It is also integer. So everything is fixed, you can't change it. Next, every type is strictly defined. Integer means integer, float means float, string means string, character means character. Don't change its meaning. If you're going to shuffle it, if in C, in program which we have seen, the C is a character. If in C, later on in the code itself, I'm going to write like C is equal to 10, it's going to throw an error that the type does not match. The data type does not match. So second is what? All assignments mean LHS is equal to RHS, are explicitly given with the help of type compatibility, means data type compatibility. Means what? If a float variable is there or a double variable is there, that is F1 and D, in that can we store integer? Yes, it is allowed. So you can write like F1 is equal to 10. But when you're going to print it, system.out.println F1, then you will get 10.0. You can write like D is equal to 12. And when you say system.out.println D, then you are going to get 12.0. Okay. So with this, the expression and the assignments all are explicitly will be type compatible. You can't change in between integer and a character, integer and a string, not allowed. So no automatic conversions of conflicting types. You cannot convert a string directly to an integer. There are typecasting which are allowed. Those are wrapper classes. We will get its view in the last unit, how to do it. Okay. But in Python, it is totally opposite. Automatic data type conversion is supported. So that's why in the start of the program, we are able to write like A is equal to 10. In the middle of the program, we can write like A is equal to hi, how are you? And in the last, we can write like A is equal to 20.45. And everything will be displayed, no syntax error. But in case of Java, starting from the class definition, as the scope starts till the class ends, if the variable is assigned as integer, throughout the whole life cycle of that variable in that class, it's going to get only that type. You can't change the data type of that variable. Otherwise, you will get a error. Now, in Python, in last lecture, means last year, I have asked you to write down this 2 raised to 0 to 2 raised to 16. Once again, it will be a kind of revision to all of you. I'm going to give you exactly 5 seconds. And now these 5 seconds are over. Now, hope so that you have gone back and we have listed all these values. Okay, why these are needed? Because in the next lecture in depth, I'm going to tell you the data types. And for data type, and in order to get to know how the memory is assigned, what are the data type ranges, what is the actual value which will be accepted, and what value will be rejected by Java compiler, for that these values are very important. It's like ABCD of your programming language. We will see it now one by one, and then we will end the session. So 2 raised to 0 is 1, 2 raised to 1 is 2, 2 raised to 2 is 4, 2 raised to 3 is 8, 2 raised to 4 is 16, 2 raised to 5 is 32, 2 raised to 6 is 64, 2 raised to 7 is 128, 2 raised to 8 is 256, 2 raised to 9 is 512, 2 raised to 10 is 1024. So when we say 1k, actually General people treat it like 1000, but if you are a computer science student, you should treat it like 1024. Don't miss those 24. Then 2 raised to 11 is 2048, 4096. 2 raised to 13 is 8192. 2 raised to 14 is 16384. 2 raised to 15 is 32768. And the last one, 2 raised to 16 is 65536. Why I'm not going to tell you about 2 raised to 17 is nothing but it's 4 lakh and some value. So it will be too much for you to remember all those value, but it is very easy to remember 2 raised to 60 till 2 raised to 16. So that's it. Till this point, is it clear to everyone? Yes.
ते आता 2 च्या ज्या व्हॅल्यूज सांगितलं तुम्ही त्या एवढ्या
हा.
लक्षात ठेवणं का गरजेचं आहे?
उद्या शिकवणार.
म्हणजे ते प्रोग्राम मध्ये यूज होणार आहेत?
Yes, yes. In the data type, when you say any integer variable is there, then you must understand that what are the actual value which that variable can take. If suppose I am going to say that I is an integer and you are using a 32-bit machine, that it means that 2 bytes of memory is officially allowed to you. Then when you're going to cross the value of 16384 or 65536 unassigned value, if you're going to write down 65537, you're going to get -1 in the output. It will be too fast for you. I will explain you everything in tomorrow's lecture. Okay, so it is needed in order to understand that why 2 raised to 8, why 2 raised to 16, what is 1 byte, why it is 8, then 2 bytes, 16, how the value is assigned. That I will show you with the help of an example tomorrow. So hope so this lecture is clear to all of you. Say yes and say bye-bye and leave the meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
Bye
Yes,
bye.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.